All right, this is for real now. The Mystic Sisters discussion.
It's for real now.
It is for real now.
It's for show real.
For show.
For show shizzle me
Okay,
dizzle.
stop it. What is with you always derailing? Anyhow, our time in Canada. I'm going to have to cut so much of this out. Jesus. Okay, so.
Try again. Restart.
Alright, so we came to Canada the summer of 2007. I don't know about you guys, but I did not know that summer that we were going to stay in Canada. I was called upstairs by mom, and we were at grandma's house. We came over for the summer to spend time with our grandparents on our mother's side because she's Canadian. So she called me up. I don't know if she did it to us individually, but I was called up individually, and she said, "We're going to try staying here in Canada for a year, see how it is. If you want to go back home on your own, you can, but we're going to stay here and try." And by we, I assume she meant herself, you, my sister Raven, and my sister Sky. Of course, in my thought process, I was like, no way in hell am I going to go back by myself with dad, deal with dad, because he had a bit of a temper and their relationship was rocky. I won't go into too much details about that. But I remember after that conversation feeling a bit confused because it was such a shocking change to me. I went outside. I went for a walk. I think I was heading to the local library, and I kind of cried for a bit because it was such a drastic change. I was just prepared to be here for the summer, and then we would go back home. And although things weren't perfect back on the island, especially with school, I was in high school by that time, and I was in a kind of used to its state. It wasn't as bad as what it was like in Richmond Hill. Shut up, cat. But I was at a point that by that point, I was kind of like just used to the environment. Got so distracted with meal. So what about you? Shush. Control your cat. So, what about you, Sky?
Um, it was. I don't even think I was even told that we were going to stay here. I kind of just. I think. Were you and I told together, Raven? I think Mom said we're going to go to school here for a year or something like that.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she. I think she just told us that we were just going to go to school here for a year, and then we kind of just ended up staying.
Okay, so she told me by myself, but she told you guys together.
Yeah.
So, how did you guys feel about that? About staying in Canada?
Oh, I was so happy.
I was I was a little optimistic about it. I guess I was curious about how school went here, and I really liked it when we did the walkthrough of Elsie Marinock. They did a little walkthrough with us.
Okay, just for clarification, you guys were technically considered still in middle school. Like, you were still in Richmond Hills at this time. I had graduated Richmond Hills, and so I went to Maranatha High School, which was a Seventh day Adventist school. These schools were both private schools back on the island, small private schools, uh, and they were religious private schools with uniforms and all that. Um, Richmond Hills is more Catholic, right? Well, it's pretty much Jesus. And then the other one was more Seventh day Adventist Jesus.
I don't even know what the difference is.
There's some differences. I'll get into. I've gotten into that, I think, or I'll get into that further later on. So basically, when we came to Canada, based off of our age range, they placed me in high school grade 10. So I skipped grade 9. You guys were in middle school, but it was Elsie Marinock,
Yes, I was put into grade 7.
and you were This guy was put into grade 7.
Oh yes, sorry.
And Raven, you were put into 1 year down, grade 6, or was
No,
it
I
2?
think it was a little lower.
Yeah, I think you were grade 5.
I think it was grade 5.
Yeah, you were 2 years behind me, so you were
Mhm.
definitely grade 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, the whole process of like getting ready for school outside, because before we would just have uniforms, but here in this public schools system in Canada, we, of course, you get to wear whatever you want basically. And so that was weird for me, figuring out what's considered appropriate school wear. I remember worrying about that, and I had like this outfit that was almost like uniformed, like with my bag and all prepared. And there was even a picture taken of me of my first day in school in Canada. And I remember walking over there. It was near enough. Later, I would try to get the bus during wintertime. But my first day, I was so scared and so panicked. And I got lost. It's actually a small school, but I was so scared and so panicked. And there were hallways that I got lost. And I remember asking like 2 or 3 people about where I'm supposed to go, um, for like the homeroom class. And then there were like, instead, because the schools that we went to on the island, they were much smaller and they didn't have a bunch of hallway spaces. So it was more like we stayed in one room for most of the time, and the teacher would come to us, as opposed to we going to individual classrooms with the teachers present.
Yeah, I remember I was really excited to get to wear
Sky?
whatever I wanted. This is Sky speaking, yes. I was so excited to get to wear whatever I wanted because I did not enjoy wearing those uniforms.
Nobody did, especially when I was in high school. My uniform was like navy blue and dark, and we had to stand outside in the lines, before in straight lines before going in to the classroom. And so the humidity levels was not fun early in the morning. And they would like judge our uniforms to make sure that we were in shape. By the end of school, everybody was like disheveled. Their uniforms rolled up, ties unlocked, shirts untucked. Yeah, you name it.
Yeah.
So you were very happy to not be in uniform.
Yeah. It was also very jarring seeing the majority of the students being white instead of the predominantly black uh, population back on the island. So we didn't really experience a lot of like
Different cultures and
I wouldn't say different. I was thinking more
ethnicities.
along like the bullying. Like the bullying
I
was
see,
more
I
so
see.
towards our either our weight or our awkwardness or something along those lines
In
instead of the
Canada?
color of our skin. Yeah, in Canada. Whereas back on the island, I'm pretty sure it was because of the color of our skin that we were bullied so much.
Yeah. I remember back on the island times when I was bullied or singled out. It was because of my skin color, or not really technically my skin color, more so what it represented. Because instead of being racist, it was more of a classist situation on the island, very European based, ruled by the British. So there was a class system, and it just happened to be segregated by those standards and, old plights that we were still dealing with to even today. So yeah, when I went to high school in Canada, I saw people from all different backgrounds, and they all different colors, ethnicities, and so I didn't really stand out how I did back on the island. So I was invisible, and I loved being invisible. I felt for the first time I could actually start to explore my own personality, figure out my own likes. I felt more comfortable in my classrooms, not being singled out, more so ignored unless I raised my hand and participated. So it was when I first started being able to express myself or try to express myself. So that's what I liked about high school in Canada. What about you, Raven? You haven't said much.
We were talking about before how getting dressed for school, deciding what to pick and stuff. It was funny that you mentioned that your outfit was more uniform-esque and whatnot, because I actually did the same thing, where mine was like the collars with
Yeah.
the dress shirt and then a sweater on top.
hmm
That was funny
Like
to
we were
me.
trying to be very presentable because we would always be judged on our presentability.
Well, I also feel like for me in that moment, it was what I was used to at that point in time.
Yeah.
Not being, just a casual t-shirt and stuff like that. I think because mom took us out to go actually pick our own clothes to wear. And I feel like that had a big, I guess you could say, impact, yeah, on my decision for clothes, which would change. Excuse me. What else did we talk about?
Like, did you find the school? Like,
How did I
did you
find?
feel more free and open? What was your take? The differences between school there and school on the island? How did it affect you? Did you feel more positive, negative, etc.? What was your view?
It was funny. At first, I was a little bit upset because the kids were very rowdy and would not listen to the teacher, and they would talk whenever they wanted to. And because I still in my mind had the fear, if we were acting like this, something bad's gonna happen to us.
Like we would be corrected.
Yeah, even if I wasn't a part of your guys' misbehavior, I would still get in trouble, kind of thing. And so I was actually quite angry at the children at the school when I went.
You're gonna get me in trouble with you guys.
For
I'm not a
real.
part of this. I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even in high school, like I don't think it was as bad in my classes, but I remember every once in a while there'd be a class I was in and the kids were just like either they would skip or not be there, they would take it casually, or they would be a bit rowdy, like you would say. Like they would the way that they interacted with the teachers, it didn't feel like they gave a lot of respect to them.
Well, I was also in a class with little kids, so
Yeah.
we were actual children.
But like even high school level, it was shocking
Mm.
how open they were with their personalities and how they played around even with some teachers. It wasn't all negative. Some of it was like positive. Like I remember one teacher I had who would like crack a bunch of jokes with the more like how do I put them, sporty students, I guess, the jocks. And yeah, the way that they would communicate and stuff, it was like, okay, are you all going to the same frat party later or something? What's going on here? Like it was shocking to me at first. And even with like the way that there were students who expressed themselves with like their outfits. But I remember there was this one student, this girl, she had a very goth look with her piercings and her hairstyles. And I remember only seeing that on TV, that extreme emo look, that edge, like Marilyn Manson style, with tattoos and everything. I was like, whoa, whoa,
Whoa,
when I
you're
first saw
cool.
her. And when I had a class with her, she was the sweetest, the nicest girl. Her art was a little scary, but she was hella cool, and it just like opened me up to different types of people, and how I remember even my teachers, they would talk bad about people who were like this and how they're about the devil and all that. And she was kind of into the devil stuff, but she interpreted it as in a different way. It was more about freedom and stuff. And it was just different people with different points of views. It opened me up more to different cultures and ideologies, etc. Different ways of thinking and forms of expression. And I really loved that being an art kid, being able to express myself through art. I really love that. What about you guys?